Hello, lovely people. I just wanted to make sure that I am live here on Facebook. Yay, cool. Hopefully, you are having a wonderful day. It is a beautiful day here in Mount Shasta City Park. God and Goddess, thank you so much for this beautiful place that I get to live in. Thank you so much that we all get to exist and have eternal life and salvation as a gift. Please help us to forgive others and please help others to forgive us. Please help us make better actions. Please help our thoughts and words align with the upward spiral so that we can be ready for the great harvest, so that we may enjoy this beautiful earth in its raised form with you. In the name of Elohim, I pray. Amen. So today is Humanity Day. Let me get this on the screen. Our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. To humanity, send your angel of holy work. Just this morning, I was talking to someone on Facebook about, well, it started off with saying my holy work, and they were in a combative stage. So they were saying, well, I'm doing God's holy work. Your holy work ultimately is part of God's plan. Everyone has their own role and part to play, the hands and feet of mercy in the position that we are in whatever that may be. And finding that holy work is, again, really, really important because it will help everything get better. You'll actually have purpose and that drive, and having the purpose and knowing my holy work is has made all the difference for me before living in the matrix lifestyle and not knowing what the purpose of life is, and also having a lot of false beliefs about what the purpose of life is, and thinking that God forces us to be here, and just this outlook of life that was very negative, that over time has been changing. And even though there are ups and downs in my life, a lot of them, I'm still able to keep focused on that holy work and understand that there's a bigger picture, there is a reason for all the things that we're going through, and to keep persevering to the end, because the end goal of your soul's holy work is going to be a better world for you and the rest of us, even if it does include suffering, which we're in a contested world, so we should expect that, but also hold on to the hope and the joy, the hope of knowing that things are ultimately working towards the ultimate salvation for all beings, that everyone gets a chance to start over, and that this is only a short amount of time in a bigger scheme of things, and having a joy in that, and the joy that comes with being connected to God and Goddess, and strengthening that relationship, strengthening our tree of life connections of the branches and roots. And it's just really beneficial. So I would encourage you to spend some time, and if you haven't already figured out what your holy work is, even just being a light in the darkness, showing love and compassion, showing a better way to the world around you. It might not be starting your own church or doing something very big and extreme. It might just be simply being there. It might be helping to feed people that are in poor positions. It might be other types of service work. So whatever brings you fulfillment and joy, and that holy work that's what you should pursue, and be focusing on trying to work on that primarily alone if you can. But obviously in this world we have to find our way, we have to pay bills and all of that stuff, but the closer that you can get to aligning that work with what is actually of the upward spiral and the holy work as well, the happier that you're going to be. I'm going to say hi just really quick. David D says, let's learn more about Mary on her day. Yes, exactly. Bob Wiles is in the house. Yes, better than that since here in Mount Shasta. Yes, many of you might know that I went to lunch the other day with Bob and my friend Dave here from the Shasta Vegan community, and it was really nice. We had some delicious curry and got to talk about all sorts of truther topics, which was really nice. So thank you, Bob, for the lunch and having that. So I'm going to focus more on the Mary Magdalene stuff and not the live chat for right now. Today is technically it is a Catholic recognized holiday, Saint Mary Magdalene Day, and it says the Catholic Church celebrates this feast day with special liturgical texts, including readings about her encounter with the risen Christ and her role as an apostle. So they called her the apostle to the apostles because she was the one that announced the resurrection to the apostles. Obviously, I don't agree with Catholic teachings. I'm not Catholic. I am here to teach the Holy Megillah. But I thought that since all this energy is being focused on Mary, that we could also focus some time on her and some of her teachings. So again, this is the Holy Megillah, translated by Day of Greenleaf, and it is available at Essene.org. There is a PDF that you can read partial parts of the text, partial text, and I will put that in the link below because some of these will be from that. So give me 1 second to put this in the chat, and then I will. There's that. And I don't think that I can share it on Facebook unless I do it this way. So cool. The story of Mary Magdalene is really, really cool. Christ and Miriam were both from the Order of the Immaculate Conception, which is this order of people that essentially wanted to purify themselves and have holy children. You would raise your children holy and have all of your descendants on the upward spiral. So every generation, the souls that are coming into that family line are just higher and higher vibration because you're being intentional about the way that you live. You're purifying away from the ways of the world, and also the sexual encounters that you're having with the person that you're in the order with are higher. They're higher vibration, right? They're not the worldly ways of sexual encounters. So in the Nazarean, this is chapter 8, verse 73. In the Nasarean encampment of Eden, there was great excitement, for behold, this was the 6th generation since the founding of the Order of the Immaculate Conception. And according to the words of the angel Gabriel, this generation would give birth to the 7th generation bodies suitable for the incarnation of Lord and Lady. Though only Omen, our Jaja, god and goddess, could know for certain, a number of bloodlines had apparently maintained the required level of purity for 6 consecutive generations. Like, what an honor just in general to be part of those families that were part of this Immaculate Conception and intentionally trying to bring light into this world. It's just so beautiful. One of the young women from such a bloodline was Zibia, and Zibia was of a pure Ethiopian bloodline, as was her husband Zemira, a harp player, though their names were Hebrew from Nasarean scriptures written in that tongue. It's kind of cool. I'm going to skip around a little bit, but it also says, when the time had come for Zibia to give birth, she did so in the manner of the Nazarenes, squatting with her back, leaning on Zemira, who was on his knees behind her. So it's kind of just cool that they mention how the Nazarenes actually would give birth. If you have studied the modern birthing world, there's just a lot of improper, unnatural ways, like even just laying down prolongs the process and doesn't allow things to move around as they're supposed to help get the baby out. So I just thought that was really cool. The next part I wanted to read is a little story from her childhood, just so that we can see some of the things that she was like. This is called The Light About Miriam, or Around Miriam, sorry. Miriam was goddess come as woman, to show the way of perfected womanhood. Wherefore it was necessary that she veil much of her transcendental light. Yea, much of her light was veiled when she was born into this world. Even so, much light was within her human form. Yea, Even veiled, the light within her was so bright that if she released too much at once, it could blind them of this world, even as staring at the sun can blind man. By the time Miriam was an older child, she had learned to perfectly release her light. But lo, when she was still a very small child, she 3 times blinded people with her light. Can you imagine? Fortunately, the blessed child then healed each of the 3 of their blindness. That story is as follows. When but a toddler, Miriam was playing in the garden. She beheld a hummingbird and experienced a joyous rapture. Yea, she was carried away with such love and joy and appreciation that bright light radiated from her. The light was so bright that a man working in the garden, when he gazed at the toddler Miriam, saw nothing but a bright light. And the light was so bright, like the sun, that it blinded his eyes. When Miriam heard the man scream that he had been blinded, she veiled her light. Then she touched the man's eyes, and he could see. Another time, the toddler Miriam witnessed a mother dog playing with her puppy. When the dog kissed the puppy, Miriam laughed with such heartfelt joy that the owner of the dog looked directly at her. Behold, she was in a state of joyous rapture and shone like the sun. The light around her was so bright that the owner of the dog was blinded. When she heard him cry out that he was blinded, the holy toddler wept tears of compassion for him. Then she walked over to where the man had fallen onto his back. As she bent over him, one of her tears landed upon his forehead. The man was healed of his blindness. Once, when Miriam was a toddler, her father, Zemira, put her on his back and let her ride on him as if he were an elephant. Miriam was delighted. Then, when Zemira pretended that he had a big trunk like an elephant, Miriam laughed with such joy that she shone like the sun. Her mother, Zebia, looking at the joyous toddler, was blinded by the light. Miriam ran and embraced her mother's leg. With the touch of Miriam, Zebia was healed. I can't even imagine having a child that's just like so full of, well, I can't imagine, but it's just so full of love and this light energy, and I mean, going around with powers that she needs to learn how to control, right? Just really beautiful stuff. This is from chapter 8 as well. Miriam and the birds that loved her. Behold, one morning while walking beneath tall trees, the holy child Miriam found a fallen bird egg. The mother bird was frantic, crying over the egg in the way that birds cry. Yea, birds may not shed tears, but they have their own way of crying. Lo, they cry from their heart rather than from their mouth. Only beings who are in the light of compassion have ears to hear this cry. And I especially love that that's not finished, but I especially love that, like as a vegan, and knowing, what chicken go through and all these other birds that are suffering, and they're crying as well. And it's just only beings who are in the light of compassion have ears to hear this cry. That compassion is our innate character. It's who we are at a fundamental level. We've just fallen from that, and eating flesh literally robs that compassion. It takes that away from us. And this mother bird was crying more than ever, for lo, her egg had fallen but not cracked, yet she could not lift it back up to the nest. Also, mother bird was in pain, for a mean boy had hit her with a stick and injured her wing. It was this boy who had knocked the egg from the nest when he struck mother bird with a stick. Lo, Miriam heard the cry from the heart of the mother bird, for truly the holy child walked in the light of compassion. As Miriam looked at frantic mother bird, she noticed the injured wing. She noticed also the great beauty of mother bird, yellow feathers with chest of green. Miriam began to sing a song of healing. She sang these words: Blessed be holy Raphael, Angel of peace, angel of healing. Blessed be the teacher of Raphael, holy Ishael, angel of the mother, the earthly mother. Blessed be the holy tree of life. Blessed be all the angels. Blessed be the body of Christ, the servants of Jaja and Elohim. Blessed be Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. Blessed be the first family, the origin of the all. I call on thee for healing now. Heal my sister clothed in feathers. I call on thee for healing now. Heal Mother Bird's broken wing. I see her wing in the eye of my mind, healed, completely mended. Lo, as she sang, Miriam placed her hands over Mother Bird. I like that too, because we could take that same song and sing it to our own situations, and like the bird the other day that I got to send the healing hands energy to. So it's really, really beautiful. As she sang, Miriam placed her hands over Mother Bird. Behold, Mother Bird became calm. Yea, she was filled with peace, and her wing was healed. Then Miriam placed the egg back in the nest and sang a song of blessing over the egg. Mother Bird flew happy circles around the tree, singing, "My wing is healed." Then she landed in the nest to watch over her egg. She sang to Miriam, "Thank you." The bird now knew that though some people, like the mean boy who had hurt her wing, were mean to birds, other humans, like little Miriam, were gentle and kind. Lo, once the egg was hatched, Mother Bird and Baby Bird often came to visit Miriam in the garden of Bar Hesed. This is really beautiful, beautiful story, and also the animals are aware. They have their own group consciousness, and unfortunately humans have become very demonic towards animals, and so animals are not friendly towards us, right? Those that lurk in the shadows are no longer friends. They're always enemies. It's always the hunter that's waiting to snipe you when you're just out for a Sunday stroll or trying to find food for your own family, right? We've got a lot to do to make up to the animal kingdom and try to repair the relationships that we, over so many generations of cruelty, we've done so much damage to them. We need to have different encounters where we're constantly interacting with them in a positive way and showing them that humans can be trusted and that they're loved. I wanted to have chapter 30, some sayings and proverbs of the Magdalene in Ethiopia. Miriam said, "The always forgiven are always forgiving." Our Blessed Lady said, "Give no ear to gossip." Miriam said, "Gossip is a contagious illness." Our Lady Christ said, "The world fears plagues, even more the world should fear gossip." Miriam said, "Flee gossip and flee gossipers." Miriam said, "The world fears an evil man. Heaven does not. The world shuns a saint. Heaven does not." Miriam the wise said, "Every lesson learned follows you everywhere." Miriam the teacher said, "Gold has a price. Learning is priceless, but be careful what you learn." Miriam the encourager said, "It is never too late to learn. It is always too early to quit learning." Miriam the teacher said, "Should you live to be 100, continue to learn." Miriam the queen of martyrs said, "Even if learning may lead to your early death at the hands of the unlearned, continue to learn." Miriam said, "Know this, wisdom that does not increase daily will decrease daily." A woman complained about the poor quality of food and water in her village. Miriam replied, "A wise bird carefully selects her tree." Miriam said, Most live less than 100 years, but worry enough for 1,000. Miriam said, beautiful women do not ensnare men. Rather, men ensnare themselves. Our Lady Christ said, the path to hell is crowded, but few know their destination. The Magdalene said, there is a path to the heavens, but few see it. Even fewer walk it. Miriam the Wise said, inner poverty comes from abandoning true riches for counterfeit coins. Miriam said, the best incense is to be kind now where you stand. Miriam said, without prejudice, Mother Earth kisses the feet of beggars and kings. Miriam said, the folded hands of prayer are not more holy than the open hands of service. Miriam said, most people have countless schemes. Jaja has one divine plan. Miriam said, there is no spiritual poverty where virtue lives. There is no spiritual wealth where virtue is absent. Miriam said, to bow your body before the Most High is easy. To bow your will is hard. Miriam said, one man tells a lie, 1,000 repeat it as true. Miriam said, horses stumble, people make mistakes. Miriam said, she who insists on a faultless sister will remain sisterless. Miriam said, he who insists on a faultless brother will remain brotherless. Miriam, our Lord, said, once a word leaves your mouth, the fastest horse cannot retrieve it. Our Blessed Lady said, what you think you say in private is thunder in the ears of the mother ovum. Not even your thoughts are hidden. Miriam said, only those who give truly have. Blessed Miriam said, when the blind lead the blind, they both walk off the cliff. Miriam said, if there is food left on your table, feed the unfed. Miriam said, the best healers emphasize prevention, even if it means decreased business. Their profit is in heaven. We need to go and share that to all the people in the medical industry. The best healers emphasize prevention, even if it means decreased business. Their profit is in heaven. Miriam said, eyes without sympathy are spiritually blind. Miriam said, she who denies the reality of falsehoods believed true will be considered dangerous by those who sell falsehoods. Miriam said, the peaceful speak little of the faults of others. The tormented speak of little else. Miriam said, the best of men will sometimes stumble. The greatest women will make a mistake, or the greatest woman will make a mistake. Both will persevere in sincerity and improve. The best and greatest will make mistakes, but we'll all learn from them and improve and desire to get better and not do them again, right? Miriam said, even amongst those initiated into the Christhood, the occasional error is found. Thank goodness, love covers a multitude of errors. Miriam often told the ill, fresh air, pure water, healthful food, enough sunshine, and daily exercise without excess. These are 5 foundational stones for good health. Fresh air, pure water, healthful foods, enough sunshine, and daily exercise. Our Blessed Miriam said, Mother Nature sets the best table. Isn't that true? The Lady Miriam said, "Let Mother Nature be your medicine. I tell you truly, for every ill there is an herb that will heal or help." Blessed Miriam said, "Let each mother master the wisdom of herbs for family health." Our Blessed Lady said, "A loving mother with knowledge of herbs is a mighty healer." Miriam said, "When an illness in your family is serious enough to warrant a paid healer, choose well. Not all healers are equal in wisdom and skill, neither in ethics nor compassion." Miriam said, "Not all women specialize in herbs. Yea, not all are of the Raphaim. But all women and men of compassionate heart should know the basic herbs for maintaining health and treating minor illnesses." I love that. It's a compassionate heart, because we're going to want to heal, even if we're not of the actual tribe of healers that is completely invested in that and primarily focused on that. Even just knowing the basic herbs for maintaining health and healing various illnesses is really helpful, because in day-to-day relationships and contact, you can talk to people and they will tell you certain things, and you can be like, "Oh yeah, hey, why don't you try this?" and be able to help them. A woman said unto Miriam, "Where do you live?" Miriam replied, "In the wind." A man asked, "Do you travel without a husband?" Miriam replied, "My eternal husband is always in my passionate embrace. Even now, his face rests upon my lap." I love the way that both Miriam and Yeshua talk about their relationship, this eternal relationship that goes beyond any of their incarnations, this eternal marriage. It's really, really beautiful. A man said, "I came because I was told that a great teacher would speak, but I see no man, only some woman. Where is the teacher?" Miriam replied, "Within and around you." An old woman complained that she was childless and would leave no legacy. Miriam replied, "Let Jah impregnate you with wisdom. Let your deeds be your legacy." A woman asked, "According to blessed parting, may I part with my husband even if he refuses?" Miriam answered, "According to blessed parting, none can be forced to stay with a spouse, for that is not the way of the great freedom." The whole blessed parting ritual, essentially, they would just go to the priest and say that they wanted to part ways, and it would be handled in a very healthy, positive, loving manner. It was usually seen as a brand new step in the new chapter of your life. It was seen as a good thing, and the two people that were getting divorced would be loving about it and wanting what is best for the other, and whatever's the best situation for the children involved was always taken into consideration. Things were done equally and fairly, and it was the blessed parting. A woman said, "My husband beats me, but he earns good money." Miriam replied, "Better a single beggar woman than a rich wife beaten." Miriam said, "A man who beats his wife does not deserve her company." A woman asked, "Can a mean husband be healed?" Miriam said, "If he is willing, bring him to healing, but do not accept his blows ever again." A woman asked, "If a mean husband is not willing to be healed, what can a wife do?" Miriam replied, "If he is not willing to truly repent, put him behind you. For I say, better to be a beggar woman in the street than submit to beatings." We're going to see in just another minute or two. I wanted to read this really cool interaction, the story about walking on water with Peter, and just the way that women were treated in this area, and just very, very badly. So that's one of the reasons for some of these teachings. But the relationships that are promoted in the Holy Megillah are always these complementary relationships of love, where the male and the female are equals and their partners working together. Neither is dominating the other. And that is what we really need in this world today, rather than this pendulum swing of the feminist movement, and then also like men go their own way and all these agendas that are being used to divide and conquer humanity and break up this beautiful bond that men and women are supposed to have together. Magdalene, being playful, said to Miriam, "Tell us something that is nearly unfathomable." Miriam laughed and replied, "It is not easy to fathom that Yah has always existed without beginning. All other mysteries are minor." The Magdalene said, "Be not a gossiper." Miriam said, "We bring no money with us at birth. We take no money with us at death. Why let it rule the in-between?" Miriam said, "If you wish to be prepared for the next road, interview those who have walked it. From the wise, learn how the road is best walked. From the foolish, learn how not to walk." Miriam said, "To talk about doing good is helpful. To do the good is far better. The first can lead to the second." Miriam said, "To hear about spiritual truths is good. To experience them is even better. The first can lead to the second." Miriam said, "To know what you should do is good. Even better is to do it. The first can lead to the second." Miriam said, "As time will tell, nobody can successfully oppose the will of the Most High." Miriam the wise said, "Do not abandon true riches for counterfeit coin." In the last saying here, Miriam said, "If you do not climb the mountain, you cannot truly see the valley. If you do not truly see the valley, you cannot help those in pain." There was a poem, this is also in chapter 30, that Miriam wrote to or spoke to her disciples, her 7 faithful disciples who were always with her. And the poem is called "I Am Miriam." "I am the feminine power from the one fount, come forth with my lover, the masculine power. We are the one that becomes two for creative expansion. We are the two that again become one in transcendental bliss. You are the why. We are the way. I now come to those who meditate upon me. I now come to those who look for me. I now come to those who wait for me. I now come to those who call upon me. You who meditate upon me, will you not now look upon me? You who look upon me, will you not now truly see me? You who wait for me, will you not now receive me? You who call upon me, will you not now hear me? I am the honored one. I am the scorned one. I am she who is called holy. I am she who is called whore. How can you love the Holy Mother you see not, and hate her when you look into her eyes? I am the one you have pursued, but now you run from me. I am the one who gives life and is life, but you would have me dead. I am the one before whom you have been ashamed, but now you treat me shamelessly. Run to me, live in me, take me to you shamelessly. See me now in the physical embodiment. See me now in this black skin. Always see me in all of my daughters. I am the whore and I am the virgin. I am the midwife and she who gives birth. I am the daughter and the mother. I am your pregnant sister. I am your barren sister. I am the mother of your father and the daughter of your brother. I am the queen upon her throne and the beggar woman on her stool. I am in every woman and have given birth to every man. Every man carries my spark within him. Let every man fan the flame. Do not be ignorant of me anywhere or any time. Be watchful. I am Miriam. Just to touch on a few of the other teachings that I really, really love of Miriam, the teacup magic, essentially. The 3 cauldrons. This is from chapter 45. I just wanted to read the part here. Talks about the 3 cauldrons. The first cauldron is the cauldron within us. The second cauldron is our ritual teacup. The third cauldron is our large cooking pot in which we prepare herbal soups and brews so that all may enjoy increased physical and spiritual well-being and abundance in all good things. The second cauldron and third cauldron are often used in acts of sacred enchantment and ritual. The first cauldron always is. The first cauldron is within. Though it is within, it radiates energy into our environment by way of our thoughts, words, and deeds. The inside is author of the outside. Behold, the first cauldron is the mixing place in which your thoughts, words, and deeds together brew the soup that is your life. Your willpower is the cook. Your thoughts, words, and deeds are the herbs and spices, and your life experiences are the soup. They go more into actually talking about the teacup magic and how knowing which tea to offer a guest is high art, which is really beautiful. They even talk about mint being really great. So I highly recommend that as well. We talked briefly before about Miriam outside of the slaughterhouse in Bethany, and I just wanted to read some of these really beautiful quotes from her. Miriam said, this is chapter 79, verse 2, "The heart of the heaven-bound feels and wishes to prevent the pain of the animals in this slaughterhouse." In India, the following adage is well known: "Hell swallows those that swallow meat." Miriam replied, "Look around you. Bodies are swallowing bodies. Heaven-bound humans swallow plants." Miriam replied, "Better than 10,000 animal sacrifices is to save even one animal from being sacrificed or eaten. The true God weeps for the creatures you kill, and many think they serve God by sacrificing animals to him, when in truth they serve a demonic beast that poses as God." Hurt you caused in the morning will return to you by evening. The final thing that I wanted to read is something that I'm actually going to go through maybe on Sunday and read you all of the little excerpts that have any involvement with Peter, so that we can see his story from the Holy Megillah and how he was definitely a piece of work, which we'll kind of see from this text. But I will say, as what the scroll writer said, that Peter's light shines bright above those that are below him on the ladder of consciousness, but the Lord and Lady are far, far above Peter in consciousness, and they say that even the lowest or the bottom level of the Nasarean initiates is far above Peter as well. Peter was not even vegan. He, as you'll see, was very arrogant. He denied the feminine divine, so he was not the disciple of Christ that we're told in the mainstream Bible, and was not chosen to be the cornerstone or foundation of Christ's church or to be his successor or any of that. So this is chapter 41, and I'll just actually read the whole part because it's kind of funny. That night, the 50 and the 12 and the 7 with John, Yeshua, and Miriam shared one encampment. Behold, Peter the Ebionite entered the encampment in the late evening, many hours after the baptism of the Lord and Lady. Peter began demanding that he be told what had occurred this day in his absence. For prior to being gone this one day, Peter had stayed in the encampment of John the Baptist for 1 week. He actually went to John the Baptist to essentially figure out how he got so famous and popular so that he could do the same things and make a name for himself as well. For prior to being gone this one day, Peter had stayed in the encampment of John the Baptist 1 week. During the time of the great miracle of the walking on the water, Peter had been gone to seek food supplies. For lo, the 50 and John had been fasting, but Peter quit the fast and went to find fish. For though Peter proclaimed himself a vegetarian, he yet ate fish and greatly desired to devour some. Now, having returned and noticed the addition of 21 persons, the Lord and his 12, plus the lady and her 7, Peter pondered the large group that had joined the encampment of John. With great indignation, Peter snorted in scorn when he noticed that the tents of the newly arrived unmarried women were not separated from the tents of the newly arrived men. Peter believed this to be unholy. In the late night, while most slept, Peter crept into the region of the encampment occupied by the tents of the newcomers. He placed his ear to the side of each tent, listening for the sounds of illicit fornication. Get a life, dude. When he placed his ear to the tent of the Lord and Lady, behold, Peter heard the sounds of sexual embrace. Within himself, Peter said, "Tomorrow I will expose their shame to the entire encampment and declare myself the new leader. For I am the Jacob, the successor to the office of true prophet, and the second is always greater than the first." In the morning, Peter called a meeting of the entire encampment and declared, "I arrived late last night and was told a miracle had occurred. I was told that the assembly witnessed John and also the newcomers, Yeshua and Miriam, walk upon water. But the morning light reveals a dark secret, unmarried men and women sleeping too near one another. And in more than one bed, I am certain that illicit fornication occurred. Behold, when I placed my ear to the tent of Yeshua and Miriam, who are unwed, I heard the sounds of lovemaking, illegal and shameful for the unmarried. And my teacher of 1 week, John the Baptizer, is guilty of polluting this sacred pool with the flesh of a woman who is a fornicator and who claims the right of women to the priesthood. Wherefore, I declare myself the successor of Yeshua and John. For it had been revealed to me in a dream that I will be the successor of both John the Baptist and Yeshua the Messiah. But I will take the teachings not to the Gentiles, neither to Nazareans, but to the Aaronites. According to my doctrine of the true prophet, each prophet is succeeded by a greater also mind you, this guy's just nuts, okay. Anyways, sorry. According to my doctrine of the true prophet, each prophet is succeeded by a greater prophet who is called Ha-Jacob, which means the successor. I acknowledge that Yeshua was the Christ of God and that I am his successor. I acknowledge that John was a prophet and that I am his successor. Behold, though Yeshua and John have both fallen, I will now raise them from the dead. But before I pronounce them clean to serve me in my ministry, I must be given the secret of walking on water. For, as their Jacob, I am entitled to all that they possessed, even their magic." The Lord and Lady walked from the camp out onto the water of the baptismal pool, stopping in the center atop the water. Yeshua said to Peter, "Behold the secret." Yeshua then embraced Miriam and kissed her on the forehead and both cheeks, which is the Nasarean kiss of peace. Peter then stepped onto the water, but fell into it. Lo, Peter was unable to walk upon the water. Miriam said, "When you embrace the divine feminine within, and find her throne next to the throne of the masculine divine, and stand in the place of balance that is the center and the circumference, then, and only then, will you walk on water in the manner of the Lord and Lady and the baptizer. Even so, we can teach you another way to walk on water, that way being by the help of your friends in the way of Christ. But even that manner of walking on water is yet beyond your attainment. For behold, until you become an empty wine bag, you cannot receive new wine. Now you are full of opinions about this and that, some correct and some false. How can you be the successor of that which is beyond you on the ladder of consciousness? Peter said to Miriam, Woman, be silent. When you discourse as though you had the authority of a man, you disgrace yourself. Behold, every time you speak on spiritual matters, you take away the opportunity of a man to discourse. That is unseemly, and you are disgraced. Then Peter addressed the Lord, Send this woman and the other women away. For lo, it is unseemly for holy men to travel with unmarried women. You have made her no better than a harlot. She even wears the oil of the harlots. For behold, she smells of lavender. So you can tell like what Mary's having to fight against in trying to spread the message and do her soul's mission, fighting against all this just true evil that we saw from the beginning, where Adam and Eve were tempted to sin, and Eve repented and also tried to get Adam to see the light, helped in that process. The evil one said that because Adam listened to Eve, if men would listen to women, then the whole world would not listen to the evil one's voice, and so women should be under the dominion of man, and that's when it started. So it was all the way at the beginning that this war has been fueled of evil and trying to divide the sexes from each other. Yeshua replied to Peter, Miriam of Magdala is the dove of Jalah, my Jannah, my eternal wife. She is my eternal lover. Miriam and I were wedded long before this world came into being. Behold, Miriam and I are forever wed, without a pause, even when we come to a new world. For lo, why would a happy couple like us let anything harm our pre-existing, never to be severed marriage vows? Taking a new incarnation does not sever our marriage vows, even if we are unusual in that marriage agreement. Nevertheless, we plan on being wed in human manner at Cana. Behold, Jacob means heel catcher. It not only can be interpreted as successor, but also as follower. Until you first follow, you cannot be the successor. For only one who walks the way can know the way. And only one who knows the way can teach the way. And only that one is trusted with the keys to the ascending heavens. Behold, when you hear the rhythm of the love-making of the Lord and Lady, and recognize it as your own heartbeat, yea, and as the heartbeat of the great dance, then you will be a true prophet. And if that happens in this lifetime, know this. How great a prophet you are compared to other prophets is not based on who you follow, but who you are. Yea, by your own thoughts, words, and deeds do you rise or fall on the ladder of consciousness, not by claiming to be the successor my attention on her. show on screen. Okay. Sorry about that. Woe to the world if Lord and Lady cease our eternal embrace, for then would end the great dance that gives birth to the all. Then Yeshua, as he often did, unashamedly before others, kissed Miriam on the lips. Oh, I love it. Their love story is so beautiful. The blue rose was given to her by Christ the night before he was taken and crucified. It's a beautiful story that we've read before, and we'll read it in the future as well. But she was impregnated with the holy child, the holy goblet, and that is where that whole story comes from. So those are the teachings of Miriam that I felt called to share with you today. I hope that we can all find ways to reconnect to the feminine divine within and without, so that we can be balanced as well. It is not proper to be unbalanced in either of the directions, the patriarchy or the matriarchy, if you will. So that being said, I'm going to jump in the live chat and say hi to everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I love that. Oh, hey, Dave Kaiser. Dave says red, white, and blue, the Lord and Lady and you. Aw, thanks. Yeah, didn't really plan to be all red, white, and blue today, but it definitely works. When Miriam went to the crucifixion of Christ, she actually had a red rose, a white rose, and the blue rose behind her ear as well. So it's just really, really beautiful. David says humans are demons to the animals. Absolutely. Satan has made it this way. Exactly. And they try to get as much evil into, even like a little candy bar, right? They try to get as much harm in that as possible, because Satan is there tallying up every false move that we make in order to get us back. That's what they want to do, right? They're like, hey, we'll be the karma. We'll be these demonic entities that bring justice, essentially. And they try to see it as them being the good guys when they're the ones setting the traps for us to be bad in the first place. Tom says, hey, mate, yes, lamb should lay with the lion. Our vibration will bring them in. The responsibility is ours. Yes, exactly. But sound healing is another way to get to organs, back to frequency vibrations. Exactly. I do agree with that. There's a lot of, I didn't know if you had any more from there, but a lot of stuff that we can do with sound healing and the herbs, the crystals, colors even. It's really great. I'm excited about the future of healing. Realistically, we won't need all this advanced technology and the med beds and all this stuff once humans return back to nature and what we're supposed to be in the beginning, because our bodies are self-healing machines. They want us to be young and vibrant and full of life and thriving and healthy. So we just need to align with what we're eating and what we're drinking and the air that we're breathing as well. Kyle Smith, hello. Wow, she is so deeply wise. I agree. Those teachings of Miriam are so beautiful, and yeah, I agree. These words should be on teabag labels. Yes. A rich wife tolerating abuse. My mother. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I forgave her and send her love for her ignorance. Exactly. It's definitely hard, especially there's just so much programming as well, and this pressure to either get a job or be taken care of. And yeah, there's just a lot of problems in the past that we need to heal from. And that's really beautiful that you were able to forgive her and send that love to her and try to be the love that she needed and be a safe space for her. Well, I guess I'm kind of projecting that, but Stephen says Mary was grandfather daughter to Mark Antony. Oh, interesting. Great granddaughter. Okay. Mark Antony and Cleopatra had a daughter named Chloe Hadra, who named King Jube of Numibia. Anyways, interesting. Okay. I did not know that there was alleged connections with those, but I will definitely have to look into it, because like we were saying, the Lord and Lady Christ had a child. So David says mint is awesome, protects against ants and mosquitoes, and can make tea, exactly. It's definitely enlives the spirit when I'm feeling down. A cup of hot tea is really uplifting, and I always go for the mint. So it was really cool when I first started reading the Megillah and saw that Miriam was not only promoting like teacup magic, which is right up my alley, but also mint. So yay. David D says, oh, that's weird. My chat just jumped up really weird. David D said, Peter said fish were vegetables of the sea. Exactly. And we'll read a little bit more about that because it actually happened in that quote, or in that passage there that I was just reading, that he wanted to eat fish. So he went and called them vegetables of the sea and tried to improve upon the teachings, and basically saying that, you know, Christ, you're not as practical as me. I'm going to take your message and make it so that the average person can follow it, and it's a lot easier, watered down version. And now mainstream Christianity went through Peter's nonsense, and then even worse with Paul. So it's gotten worse and worse. Steven says, please get this book in on it, Where Jesus is Buried by Wilson and Blackett from Simon Lyrics. I don't even know what that means. Hold on one second. Where Jesus is Buried. I will keep that up and look into that after we get off of here. Joseph of Arimathea arrived in Britain with Jesus in the last year of Tiberius, 37, and Christianity started in Britain. Nothing to do with Rome. Interesting. I don't know where the actual starting was. I don't even know. I don't know. It's hard to believe the map and all the locations that we've been told in general. So anyways, that's an interesting allegation, though. I'd like to read more about that. Rocket said that Jesus has no successor. Well, Mary Magdalene actually carried on the torch, and yeah, it's kind of cute too that he like just kissed her in front of everybody, and they were just intimately linked and proud about their relationship, and they weren't ashamed about it. They expressed the love of God and Goddess in human form, which includes love, it includes sex, it includes all of these different things. So yes. Stephen says Linus was the first bishop of Rome after Caractacus and his family were captured. Okay. Is all this stuff in that book that you recommended to me? David says Jesus' power came from the feminine divine. Yes. Rocket says Jesus' power was from God the Father. I understand that you are part of mainstream religion, Rocket, and that is where you're coming from. So I'm not really sure that we will be able to come to an agreement, because the Bible lies about God and Christ, and it just has the teachings of a jealous God that are not the creator. God is the father, Goddess is the mother. They both work together in creation, and they are both together, like Christ was saying, split a log and you will find them embracing. Look up at the stars and there they make love. Their union is what keeps everything going, and the denial of it and the separation from that within ourselves and the world around us has caused a lot of problems. So we need to get back to that. Really, Jesus' power came from both God and Goddess. Yes, exactly. TomTom says we need to be breatharian to walk on, or Etherian, sorry, to walk on water physically, spiritually. I'll believe otherwise if someone does it in front of me. Well, yeah, I definitely understand that it's hard to believe. I would agree that, you know, Miriam's teachings, if you find that balance and that center within yourself, and then you'll be able to unlock a lot of powers, because that's when you're truly centered in you, in Yah, and can really activate all of the power that we all have. Rocket said Mary was human, but we just read in the text that said otherwise. Bob says fascinating stories about jockeying from position and power. For myself, I have no ambitions about walking on water. Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. I'd like to walk on water, but flying would be a lot cooler. Stephen says walking on water is about being above maritime law / admiral law. It's about owning our sovereignty. Well, I definitely think that there can be multiple different things, but obviously this in the Megillah wasn't talking about maritime or admiral law, because that wasn't the situation there. But yeah. Noreen, hello, how's it going? What about nature? Mostly matriarchal. Well, I think true nature, once we leave it alone, when we're not causing the poisoning and the war that we have caused, is balanced. It's not dominating in either way. It's a peaceful existence where the male and female, the lion and the lamb, whatever, will all lay down together in peaceful harmony. So maybe humans are supposed to be like gods or angels to the animals, but most of them became different kinds of demons to them. Yes, I agree. In the Megillah, it talks about us, that we were supposed to be their guide. We're supposed to show them the way. We're supposed to help uplift them, to help graduate them to the next form of being, the next level of consciousness. And in turn, obviously, we've turned away from that, and we've drugged them even further down to where they're not the best versions of themselves either. They're not living in peace with one another. They're being vicious. They're living in these conflict situations. Sweet. Steven says that that what he was talking about is in that book that he recommended, so I will look into that as well. Rocket says, I'm not mainstream. Okay. Well, wherever you are, you're welcome, but I hope that you will listen to the truth. TomTom says, haha, yeah, need to be ethereal or Etherean to fly, mate. Now you're getting it. Ha ha ha. Well, again, I don't really believe that you have to be ethereal to fly. I think that we have these powers that can be accessed in this body as well. So that being said, today is Peace with Humanity Day, so I want to just return our attention to the prayer. And our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. To humanity, send your angel of holy work. I really encourage you to take some time today to find out what your holy work is. Hopefully the teachings of Miriam were inspiring to you. They're really inspiring to me. I absolutely love this book and highly recommend it. It might help you find your holy work as well. It's definitely helped me improve on a personal and a spiritual level, being more kind and more godly and goddessly in general. So that being said, I hope that you will, like I said, take some time to figure out your holy work and do what it is that you need to do to do it. I hope that you have a wonderful